Lights, camera, and action. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? We're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Let's get ready to join Anna and Jimmy as they go back and watch those movies you remember being oh so awesomely good. Horror movies that scared. Comedy movies that dared.
Damn!
And action movies so preposterously ludicrous that they defied the laws of common sense. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
All right. So, welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. If it looks weird and if someone sounds weird, it's because they are in the Dominican. As you can see, the palm trees and nice weather behind her. It's not me. I wish I could tilt my camera. There was snow on the ground today. Like literal.
Is there?
Snow.
Yeah, but you live a little further north than me.
Not that much north, but like you picked a great week to take off. What a great movie to start off. We're done Halloween. We did our palate cleanser.
We are. Mm-hmm.
With the wholesome
Escape to Witch Mountain.
And now it's November, so we are heading off into Christmas and Thanksgiving and all that Black Friday stuff. And we are going to take a look at Reindeer Games with Ben Affleck, Gary Sinise, Charlize Theron, also Isaac Hayes and Clarence Williams III, and Danny Trejo and Dennis Farina, who's in every mobster movie there is.
Well, of course.
What do you remember about Reindeer Games?
I would like to go on the record as saying I was in my Ben Affleck era when I watched Reindeer Games. So I have a feeling that I liked it more than I should have. I remember thinking it was okay. Like, I liked it. I didn't think it was fantastic. But I remember watching it and being like, yeah, it was all right.
I was more on my Charlize Theron. I think you get to see her boobies. This movie. Actually, in the reviews, there were a couple of reviews and we get to see Charlize Theron naked again. So was she naked a lot in her early movies?
I'm trying to think. See, I only really recognized Charlize Theron when she started doing all of her Oscar-winning I'm Ugly and a Psycho.
Oh, so you ignored the boobies in the early career.
Yeah, I wasn't really paying attention for the boobies. My apologies. That was not my main concern.
I only recognized Charlize Theron's boobs when she was in more prestigious movies.
No. I don't even know if that's when she would just start like messing up her face.
I can't even remember a movie where I remember Charlize Theron naked, which is surprising, but
I don't think I remember her ever being fully naked. I highly doubt I'm blocking it because she's hot. So hot. But I'm like,
I definitely had a crush on her. But this is one of her earlier movies.
Yeah.
So I remember thinking this movie was cool, violent,
a
couple twists.
A
lot of great actors in it. Like I love Gary
a lot
Sinise.
of really great ones.
I love Ben Affleck. I really do. I don't love all his movies. He's made some shitty ones.
I have a theory about Ben Affleck and Matt Damon because they first rose to stardom together. But my theory is that Matt Damon is the in front of the camera talent and Ben Affleck is the behind the camera talent.
Oh, yeah. He can direct too.
Yeah. He's an incredible director. He's a great writer. On camera, he's good. Nobody's disputing that. He's a very good actor. But he doesn't have the same kind of presence that Matt Damon does. So I think that Matt Damon kind of edges him out there. Matt Damon is a great writer. I don't think we've seen Matt Damon direct anything. So we can't judge him on that. But Ben Affleck is a really, really talented director.
You know, every Matt Damon you say, I've got to look for the a gif of South Park guys. Matt Damon.
Oh God. Team America.
That's it. I'm sure it's going to be an easy gift to find. All right.
First time I watched that movie, I laughed so hard. Anyways.
Oh, have you seen? They have some new movies out on Paramount Plus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're going after everything and everyone, and yeah, like they're yeah
Amazing.
yeah they're them. Like it's not shocking or anything. It's if it comes
Yeah,
from them.
no. You kind of expect
Uh,
it.
yeah. All right, so let's go to the box office, and we will look at Reindeer Games. Reindeer Games came out on February 25th, 2000. Budget of 42 million. It opened in 2,204 theaters, and it was number 3 with just over 8.1 million. Had a domestic
Okay.
total of 23.3 million, international 8.8, closed out at 32.1 million. But again, 2,000, you still had rentals, so it probably didn't. It hopefully broke even.
It probably did. It probably made a bit of a profit because you do
Yeah,
have to factor in also now streaming services and things like that. They're
yeah.
still making money off of us.
And I'm looking at the February 25th because I do remember the Santa Claus aspect of this being a Christmas thing. They kind of missed the boat.
Yeah.
On February 25th.
God
What are you
bless.
gonna do? All right. So let's go to the tail of the tape. Reindeer Games was released in 2000. It's a crime drama rated R and comes in at 1 hour and 44 minutes.
That feels long.
Does, especially if it sucks. Taglines. The trap is set, the game is on.
Okay. That's not bad.
Oh, good, because that's the only one they had. That's the only one they went with.
Well, good for them. Good for them.
So the budget, you can tell the marketing to get a hold of that budget.
No,
right.
they did not.
So the synopsis. Just released from prison, all Rudy Duncan, Ben Affleck, wants is to start a new life with Ashley, Charlize Theron, the girl of his dreams, whom he met through his pen pal letters in prison. But between them and happiness stands her crazy brother, Gabriel, Gary Sinise, and his motley crew of deadly criminals who think Rudy has some inside information about a casino where he once had a job. A casino Gabriel and his short fused posse plan to take down.
That
Sounds
actually
fun.
jogs my mememory. I
Yeah.
remember there being a lot of like kind of angry, borderline crazy men in this movie. Because
Mhm.
when it said short fuse posse, I was like, wait, flashback. Yeah, no, it sounds like a great premise.
Yeah, just a nice standard action, and yeah.
Yeah.
All right. The poster, the movie theater poster, was a lot. Yeah, this was, I think, also the DVD cover, the everything. Looks all right.
I would feel better if I mean, yay Ben Affleck, yay Charlize Theron. I feel like Gary Sinise should be in there.
Yeah, I would have put more. Like he's not James Bond.
Yeah.
Come on.
Exactly.
Yeah, get off your high horse, Ben Affleck.
You can't talk to Ben like that. He's married to J-Lo again. Oh wait, he was never married to J-Lo in the first place.
No,
Who broke up. He's married to J-Lo for the first time.
All right, off to Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb. 91 critic reviews have this movie at 25%.
Oh Jesus!
25,000 audience has it at 27%. So this is one of those movies where it seems like everyone agreed.
Oh my God.
Critic consensus is, despite a decent cast, subpar acting and contrived plot disappointed reviewers. All right.
Okay.
You may start with the fresh.
I'm ready. Where else are you going to see 5 Santas storm a bargain basement casino with guns a-blazing? David, I cannot read that.
David Forsmark, Flint Journal. I forgot you're...
I'm on my phone.
You're in the Dominican and you're on your phone.
Well, it's just my screen. I also have a flip phone. So that's just happens to be where my screen protector is starting to peel off. So I'm just a hot mess.
Traditional noir story jazzed up with a game cast and some jagged violence. Hardly a must-see. It's decent enough Saturday night fare. Eddie Harrison, filmauthority.com, original score 3 out of 5.
At its worst, Reindeer Games is far-fetched, but if you suspend disbelief and just go along for the freaky ride, this noirish trucker tale isn't half bad. No, this it says noirish trucker tall tale. Oops, isn't half bad. Rory Miller, Long Island something, original score. I'm going to take off this thing for the next one.
7 out of 10.
Thank you.
You can almost feel yourself being drawn in, tricked, and tossed out of every plot device. It's flawed, but gosh, it's fun. George Mayer, Orlando Weekly. There was not a whole lot to choose from.
Yeah. I mean,
there were a ton of. All right, off to Rotten.
You are sorely tempted to laugh and call it names. To Wayne Dudd, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel.
Yeah, get it, Reindeer Games. Everyone in Reindeer Games is stupid. Rob Gonsalves, Rob's Movie Vault, original score D. He just got right to the point.
He's like, this is what it is. Dramatically killed with an ending so ridiculous that it practically washes away the entire entertainment value of its previous 90 minutes. Oh, God. Joe Blow?
Yep.
Joe Blow's Movie Network, original score, 5 out of 10. Thank you, Joe Blow.
At times, Reindeer Games looks as if it was directed by Frankenstein, not Frankenheimer. You want to kill it. You want to run away. Bruce Kirkland, Jam Movies.
Wow, Bruce. There isn't a scene that's not an insult to the eyes. Charles Taylor, Salon.com.
It's a heist without a plan, a crime without a brain, a thriller without a decent script. Michael Willington, Chicago Tribune.
Fantastic.
Yeah. There were a lot of good ones, like bad ones, to choose from.
Yeah.
So they were all.
I believe it.
It was a fun read. IMDb has 42,000 user ratings, giving it a 5.8, which actually is not, for a thriller, is not great.
No, it's not great,
drama,
but it's not
the
not worst. Correct.
So let's start. I ended that one, so you may go ahead.
Thank you. It's a classic in my book. 10 out of 10. Rotten Potatoes.
Yep.
Oh my God, Rotten Potatoes. Nice.
I didn't even think about how hard it would be for you to read all this on the.
No. Don't worry about it. I'm good.
I actually didn't expect that it would be great, but it is great. 9 out of 10. Omarab 32853.
Don't care what others say. It's a good film? No. Don't care what others say. Good film. 8 out of 10. Now it's just, Takari Man.
Yeah.
Takara Man.
It blowed up real good. 7 out of 10. Morgan 10.
All Rise, the case against Ben Affleck. This movie could be used as Exhibit A in the case. Ben Affleck accused of impersonating an A-list actor. 6 out of 10. Leon Louis Ricci.
All Rise, the case against Ben Affleck. Why Straight to Video was invented. 5 out of 10. W. Johnston.
Oh, that's good. Almost watchable. 4 out of 10. Lava Slide 60237.
Why did I see this? And there's a lot of question marks there. 3 out of 10. JTF South.
Ridiculous Games. 2 out of 10. Kenja.
They all of us an apology. 1 out of 10. H. James 97822. They all of us.
That's funny.
When a movie when I see on Rotten Tomatoes that the movie is being got really low scores, you just know IMDb, there are going to be people that just really bash it well.
Oh yeah.
All right. So we remembered liking it. The tagline was fine. The one it had. The synopsis was good.
Yeah.
The poster, The cast is great.
Yes.
The reviews. Now the reviews is kind of that's not so good.
Yeah.
But let's watch, and we'll make our prediction.
We walk out of here. What's the first thing you're gonna do? Go out and get myself a mug of hot chocolate, a piece of pecan pie, right?
He was a reformed ex-con who wanted to start a new life.
You, Ashley? I've been dreaming about that smile for so long.
She was the girl of his dreams.
When I read what you wrote to me, I said, here's a guy they say is a criminal, but he's not.
When I get back in that room, you better be
I read your letters, convict.
He knows you worked at that casino.
Stands a team of criminals who wanted to take down the state's richest casino.
It's just my luck. Finally meet a boy that I'm crazy about, and my brother wants him worse than I do.
You want to hear about some job of mine? I want some hot chocolate and some pecan pie.
Let's start talking.
I can really go for some onion rings.
What started out as love
Do you remember all those letters you wrote me about me and you against the whole world? We can have it all if you just give him what he wants.
could end up in murder.
What did you think's gonna happen? This thing's gonna be over? He's just gonna let me go? He's gonna shoot me in the back of the head like this. You're gonna give me a disguise. You're sending me into an Indian casino dressed like a cowboy.
It was that or a ballerina.
Hey, he was talking to the manager inside there.
Something tells me you're not being totally honest with me.
Rule one, never put car seats behind the wheel.
Ben Affleck, Gary Sinise, Charlize Theron. In the new thriller from John Frankenheimer. Wow. Reindeer Games.
I have a
That
feeling
was-
I'm going to hate this.
But that trailer was great.
Yeah, no, the trailer is great.
I have a feeling that, yeah, I don't think the movie's going to live up to that trailer. And we've talked about
I don't think
this.
so either.
There are some
Yeah.
some editors out there that work in trailers that can turn a pile of shit into that make it look like the movie of the year, that you have to see this movie.
Yes. And then
'Cause
when
this
you
looks
watch it, you're like,
fantastic.
I don't even remember. Yeah. It looks good. I was like, I'm going to hate this. I can feel it.
Yeah, because
Because the trailer looks super interesting.
Yeah. And when are they going to bring back the voiceover dude or girl, whoever, whatever?
I
they
don't
are?
know, but I really wish he would come back.
Yeah. That's so great. When
You think he
they're-
died, though?
Well, there was like 2 or 3 main ones. And then there were a
Yeah.
few that you're like, oh, they couldn't afford the good guy.
Yeah. There's a really great guy. And then there's the other kind of, not lower tier, but lower tier, like lower pay
Yeah.
tier. Yeah. Where you're like, you're nice, you're good, but you're not the top tier guy. And
No.
that's okay. But it's just, when they got the top tier guy, you're like, oh, they really
Yeah.
put money into this.
Yeah. All right. So what's your prediction? Is that your prediction?
I think I'm going to roll my eyes so hard, I'm going to give myself a migraine.
Yeah, because everything looked great, but reading those comments, and sometimes I lean more towards the audience, but the audience is
Yeah.
right there with the critics. And because like when he's saying, "Oh, I can go for some more onion rings," and Danny Trejo punches him in the face, and the trailer looks so good. But I think I agree with you. I don't know if I'm gonna hate it. I really don't think it's gonna live up to my memory and that trailer, which is too bad.
Yeah, but we were also under the influence. You of Charlize Theron, me of Ben Affleck. We were in our eras at that time. So, I mean, we tend to like things of people that we're kind of infatuated with at the time.
That's
When I
true.
was going through my Christian Slater era, I watched Cuffs and I liked it.
I remember like
Thank you. We should watch Cuffs if we can
Yeah.
find it anywhere.
Cuffs,
Because
I
I'm pretty
remember.
sure
That's
I
with
watched
Christy
it a
Swanson,
couple
right?
years. No, Mila
Oh.
Jovovich.
Oh, Christy
was,
Swanson
like-
is the one with Charlie Sheen and Tom Berenger, where they have
Oh,
to
yeah.
transport her. I think it came out around the same time too. I don't think it was
Oh.
as popular as Cuffs, which is weird because Cuffs wasn't even as popular
No.
back in the day. All right, yeah, no,
Anyways.
it looks really good. I think I could be really
Well-
disappointed.
Let's see how we feel about it.
All right. Well, we are going to go watch Reindeer Games. And when we come back, we'll have our answer and we will review Ben Affleck, Charlize Theron, and Gary Sinise.
You heard them. Movie time. Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a treat. And then watch a classic kick-ass movie from whenever the one we're about to watch was made.
Dun, 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 dun. Reindeer Games.
Reindeer Games.
Welcome back to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. I see you are still in the Dominican.
Yes, I am.
Having fun?
And wait, yeah. And behind me, that bright blue light, that's the pool. Yeah, yeah.
Nice. How's the food been?
Food's been pretty good.
Yeah.
I've mostly just eaten at the buffet just because I am too lazy to go to like the restaurants. But the food's been pretty good. I've been very happy. They have some really great fruit, which was what I was aiming for. I've had like ripe papaya and ripe pineapple every single day at pretty much every single meal. So good.
Have you looked at staying down there for a few more weeks? See what the cost is per week?
If I had brought my work laptop, I would do it. But unfortunately, I did not plan ahead like that. I left my work laptop at home. Otherwise, I would have been like, can you give me a couple more weeks? I'll stay. We'll move my flight. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Have you watched the late, great John Frankenheimer's last theatrical release, Reindeer Games?
I have.
Because he passed away in 2002. And while many will argue Reindeer Games didn't make him a great director, he did direct Ronin a couple years earlier, The Manchurian Candidate, a few decades earlier, The Fourth War, The Birdman of Alcatraz, The French Connection 2, Dead Bang with Don Johnson. I remember liking that movie. He even was brought in to save The Island of Dr. Moreau with Val Kilmer and Marlon Brando because it was such a mess. They brought him to try to save the movie. He did not succeed.
Well, no.
Disaster.
Some movies just need to die.
Yeah.
And that would be one of them.
I would be curious going back to watch that again because I don't think I've seen it since then. And and even back then, I was like, whoa, this movie's messed.
I watched it once and I was like, this is the most disconcerting and uncomfortable movie ever. I never want to see it again. So yes, let's watch it for the podcast. Why not?
All right. Your initial thoughts. I have a feeling we're going to be wildly different here.
It wasn't terrible.
Oh, maybe we won't be.
It was not terrible until probably the last 30 minutes of it. I was with it. And then the last 30 minutes, I was like, you're just throwing all of us off of this train and just leaving us to die. So I was like, But I mean, like, for the most part, I was like, oh, okay. It's not bad. And then I was like, what? What about you? What are your thoughts?
Okay, this was for rent and it was for sale, as they usually are. But the difference was like $2 or $3.
Yeah.
So I bought it on the off chance that if it was okay or better than we were thinking. Now, I don't know if I'm trying to justify the fact that I bought it. I really don't. But I didn't mind it. I mean, it's not a great movie. Don't get me wrong. Maybe it depends on your mood. My mood was nostalgia, which is always the case when it comes to this podcast movies. I was in the mood for a Christmas action. So I don't know. I kind of feel those 27% was a little harsh. I mean, you got to see.
No, I agree. There was some booby. There were also butts.
Yeah.
Not just Charlize.
No.
There was also Ben's butt.
They weren't just any boobies. They were Charlize Theron's boobies. This wasn't some screen queen boobies, which I don't appreciate. I'm not trying to sound ungrateful, but Charlize Theron is one of the greatest actors of our generation.
Yes.
Yeah. Like she's beautiful, super talented. She's a movie star.
She is incredibly talented.
Yeah. Not like that tripe they're trying to pass off as acting now. Like Gary Sinise was great. Danny Trejo, who we both love.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it. He's one of my favorite actors.
No, you're not pronouncing it right. Who?
Danelle Logue?
Oh, yeah.
Is that how we pronounce it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Like
that's how I pronounce it.
They were underused, but what they were they were great. And who I felt wasn't underused was crazy Clarence Williams III. Maybe we could have used a bit more of him, but his character was fantastic.
So fantastic.
Yeah. I thought maybe the weakest actor here was Ben Affleck.
Oh
And
God, 100%.
I'm a Ben Affleck fan. Absolutely. Take that as how you will. But we didn't get Argo, Gone Girl, and The Town Ben Affleck. We got Ben Affleck caught in the middle of his Kevin Smith movies and trying to become a leading man.
We got Armageddon Ben Affleck.
Yeah, trying to be a leading man.
Yeah,
and weirdly
didn't work.
No, and when he was in Kevin Smith, like Mallrats and Dogma mode, that's when he was at his best, I felt. It's when he tried to do that drama when he kind of slipped into that Armageddon.
Don't get me. I just don't think Ben Affleck should do action movies. He's not the greatest. Like, he's not terrible. I'd like to go on the record and say he's not terrible. Like, you're not watching it and going, oh my God. He feels very out of place in almost every single action movie he does.
But when he plays that serious, he's
Argo, one of his best performances ever. Absolutely. Gone Girl, amazing.
Yeah.
But then, The Town, even some of his more panned movies, I'm like, his performances were still incredible. It's just, I'm thinking of Armageddon. I'm thinking of, because he was in Pearl Harbor too, wasn't he? Yeah. He did some, So like every time there's just something off about him. Whenever he's in an action movie and he's trying to be the leading man, there's just like, it doesn't sync. His performance doesn't sync. Still a respectable performance. Yeah. Just out of place.
Not his strongest suit.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if it seemed like when he was put head to head with Charlize Theron, maybe he was intimidated. Like maybe at that time, Charlize was just that much better, and it showed. I don't know, because she was 25 at this movie, and she was great.
Oh, she was incredible
right out of the gate. Like
I don't think
first movie, but this was an early movie.
Yeah, I don't think Ben Affleck gets intimidated by other actors. I think Ben Affleck can't, because there are certain actors that they can't give the right performance for certain roles. Yeah. Like there are just some actors that you're like, you shouldn't do that kind of movie because you can't perform for it. And I think this is just Ben Affleck's weak spot.
Yeah.
Still looked good in it though.
Yeah, he had a nice ass.
He did. He really did.
Maybe just saw Charlie's boobies and made him fuck up all his lines, and I can see that.
It's very possible. There were no lines when he could see her boobies, unless she was standing off to the side, like just flashing him.
Yeah,
which I highly doubt.
Yeah, I could see them being like, "Ben, it's your line." What? Okay, so the plot is very thin, like both the movie plot and the actual plot that I got. Yes, if you haven't seen this in some time, this is full of twists and turns. While some are fun, some are so forced.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Some movies like give you clues, like subtle facial expressions, phrases, hint to the audience.
That was my biggest complaint. That was my biggest complaint about this movie. Like you're following along and you're like, okay, great. And then I kind of had a feeling there would be like, I thought Ben Affleck was just going to turn it around on them. But then they start throwing like all of these twists at you, like plot twist after plot twist after plot twist. And I was like, sir, whoever wrote this needs to calm down because this is too much.
Yeah. In the reviews, a lot of the reviews and stuff that I read, the writer got blamed for a lot. I don't know his name, but he did write Transformers 2. So if that tells you one of the
will say this though. I didn't take a look at the writing credits because a lot of times a writer will submit their script and that's what gets purchased. And then they bring in other writers who, because the producer's like, we need more action. And they're like, okay. And then they just write like some ridiculous scene and like shove it in there.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure
really hoping that's what happens.
Yeah, I'm sure some writers watch the movie and they're like, what the I didn't write that.
Yeah, the writer's sitting there going, that was not me. That was, can I get my name off of this?
Yeah. Yeah, because especially the ending twist, it looks like they picked that out of a hat near the end. And just went with that one. But we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Okay. In a prison near Iron Mountain, Michigan, cellmates Nick Cassidy and Rudy Duncan are 2 days from release. Actually, I think it's 3.
Oh.
Nick has been exchanging letters with a young woman named Ashley Mercer. Although they have never met, he plans to meet Ashley after being released, while Rudy wants to join his family in Sydney for Christmas. They spent a lot more time in the prison than I remembered.
Same. I was actually I also forgot Nick was a person. I did not remember him at all. And I was like, Nick's the one writing to Ashley? Like, I thought, because when you read the synopsis, it was like Rudy. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right, because that's how they meet up. And then I was like, wait, no, that's not what's starting here. They did spend a lot of time in the prison, but I'd also like to point out, maybe it's just because I've read a lot of books about people who end up in prison, but you don't announce when you only have 2 or 3 days left on your sentence.
No, that makes some prisoners a little upset.
Because, yeah, someone will try to fuck you up. Someone will try to fuck you up. So they're walking around going, 3 days left, 3 days left. I'm like, stop that.
And it did give a little bit of a backstory, some character development or character. You got to see the character pre-action stuff. This is not in the plot. A giant of a man named Alamo.
Mm.
He was freaking huge. Just
enormous.
Just gets out of solitary and thinks Rudy is the reason he got sent there. So the next couple of days they're waiting. Rudy's worried about Alamo. Here is the plot after Rudy just wants to join his family. A fight then breaks out in prison. Nick is supposedly killed while protecting Rudy. Oh, I didn't glance at that part. The plot gave away the ending. Nick is supposedly killed. The fuck. Spoiler.
Everybody who's watching the podcast, we've spoiled so many movies for people without warning them because we talk about the entire thing.
Well, that's true, but we usually wait till the end to spoil it. I just spoiled it in the first 2 minutes.
No, you haven't spoiled anything.
I don't
Nick
donate.
Jumps in front.
Yes.
And saves Rudy.
Yes,
that's not spoiling nothing.
During lunch, Isaac Hayes, who is an inmate,
yes,
which was a weird cameo, like surprise cameo.
But the greatest one. I loved it.
Finds a cockroach, a very large cockroach in his jello.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it was after it had already gone into his mouth. He freaks out.
Yeah.
Other inmates notice, fights or riot breaks out, giving Alamo his chance to shank Rudy. Nick tells Rudy to run and gets stabbed, and Alamo gets tackled as he's trying to kill Rudy. Rudy holds Nick in his hand as the blood is everywhere. Tells Rudy, pretend to be me, Rudy. Tell her you're me. And then you can bang Charlize Theron. No.
I think I missed that part.
See, if I was the director, Nick would be like, tell Ashley I love her. I will always love her. And then Rudy would be like, I will, Nick. I'll pretend to be you and bang her. That's not what I said. Go to the light, Nick.
Oh my God.
Now, the plot here that I'm reading missed all the rioting and killing and goes to, upon release, Rudy poses Nick, meets Ashley, they go to diner, then have sex in cabin. That's verbatim. That's what it says.
That is the thinnest plot.
Diner, then have sex in cabin. I mean, is what happens.
Okay, but like there's a whole other thing because like Rudy comes out, he walks right by Ashley and he's like, nah, don't do it. But then Ashley looks all sad in her little silver puffer jacket, which was the height of fashion at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh. And then he's like, don't do it. But then he gets off the bus and he walks back to her and he's all like, I'm Nick. And she's like, oh my God, I love you.
Yeah.
And then they go shopping.
Yeah.
Then they go to a motel and have sexy times.
Yeah. See, I don't donate tens of dollars bi-monthly for this Bush League bullshit Wikipedia. Fuck.
Tens of dollars monthly.
I found one on Wiki Fandom. It was worse.
Oh, Jesus. But, you know what it is? People are just like, does it matter?
Yeah. It's Reindeer Games. Okay, yeah. So, yes, because they go back. Okay, so the two are kidnapped by Gabriel and the gang leader brother. Okay, yeah. Because you're right. They go shopping first.
Mm-hmm. That's where he learns where she works.
And they're at the diner, and he says he just walked by because he was afraid that she wouldn't love him. And then they have sex. We get to see boobies. Yeah, there's a whole big thing that happens. Then they come back. She's going to pay for more days or something, and he's going to bring the supplies in.
Yeah.
And the two are kidnapped by Gabriel, Ashley's gang leader brother. He tells Rudy that the gang, composed of Pug, Merlin, and Jumpy, are planning to rob a casino where Nick used to work before going to prison. Rudy protests that he is not Nick, but Ashley reveals that she wrote to him knowing Gabriel would use him for the robbery. Realizing that he will likely be killed if they learn that he knows nothing about the casino, Rudy resumes the ruse. I did like this part. Like, not this part I read. They really went over a lot of, they skipped a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like,
because there's a lot of threatening, there's a lot of swearing, there's a lot of, Rudy trying to be like, I'm not Nick, and just like, oh, like him, Gabriel turning to his sister and being like, oh, you slept with the wrong guy, like whatever, and like a lot of back and forth. And Rudy, God bless him, is trying to convince them multiple times,
yeah,
I'm not Nick, and they refuse to believe it. So he keeps having to admit that he's Nick repeatedly, after denying it, so that they don't kill him. It's I got a little annoyed because I was like, wow, Gabriel's like extra crazy.
Yeah.
He's like batshit.
So Gabriel's like, if he isn't Nick, then we don't need him. And they decide to kill him. And they drag him out to the forest. Rudy realizes he's dead if he doesn't say he is Nick, and then yells he'll help them. But then he says he wants something first, a cup of hot chocolate and pecan pie.
That's all he wanted. In prison, that was all he talked about.
Yeah, and I love the scene where Gabriel's like, okay, are you done? And Rudy is like, actually, I'd go for some onion rings. And Danny Trejo's character just punches him with his back. That was awesome.
I'm like, the man's been in prison. Give him some onion rings. Give him some onion rings. Although while he was eating the pie, I think Gabriel tries to talk to him, and he like puts his finger up and like stops him. And he's like, I'm going to finish my pie. And he finishes his pie. And then that's when he's like, are you done? It's like, I can go for some onion rings. And then punch. And then it's like, okay, no onion rings. Fine.
And this is where we get the map that they have, and looks different. Again, like he says, it looks all different now. They must have remodeled. And then they're again, well, if you can't help us, we don't need you. So he tells them that he needs 6 people. The cage is not armed. The powwow safe has the most money. I love it when they put the title in the movie in the dialogue, where Gabriel actually says, "Don't play no reindeer games with me." I'm like, there it is.
I think I made a note. There's a bunch of like small stuff. Wait, let me find my notes, because they keep making like holiday kind of play on words and like things like. I also made a note about the voiceover, Ben Affleck doing the voiceover, as in like, here, let me tell you my story. I was like, oh God, guys. R.I.P. Nick, of course. Oh, here it is. Get down her chimney.
Oh,
that was a good one. Yeah. And then there were a couple other ones where I was like, sir, is that another like holiday joke?
Which makes me think there were a ton of awesome one-liners in this movie. There were a lot of clever lines in this movie, which kind of now makes kind of what you said. Maybe the guy who wrote it, like, how can you write so many good things and then write so many stupid things?
Honestly, I feel like there were some serious rewrites.
Yeah. And it sounds like maybe they should have left it alone. Because Gabriel, actually, I made a note. He says, I read your letters, convict. Don't play no reindeer games with me. And there was our title. And it's times like that that make me think I'm not a critic's critic. And probably the best line in the movie, once they're out and getting it ready, he's agreeing to do it and all that. And Gabriel makes a comment about Rudy posing as Nick to get into Ashley's pants, like you said, getting into her chimney, which was great. Ashley tells Rudy that she loves him, and Gabriel's like, my sister just said she loves you. Aren't you going to say something? And Rudy, who's kind of pissed off now, figured he's been screwed, says, I had better sex in prison. That was an awesome.
That was funny. I barked at a laugh when I heard that. I was like, oh, shit.
At the casino, Rudy, dressed as a cowboy, snoops around to see any changes and is almost caught by Jack Bangs, but escapes by switching clothes with a college student. Okay, he isn't almost caught by Jack Bangs. This is the plot. Who's played by Dennis Farina.
Yep.
National treasure, that man.
I love him so much.
He just likes
He's
the
so
cowboy
great.
costume and just wants to know how
Yeah.
he heard about the casino and for his marketing. This does make the others nervous because it does look like they're talking. And then Ashton Kutcher pops up, who just started that 70s show a year earlier. Actually, this came out in 2000. It was probably being filmed. They were probably filming season 1 when he did this.
Mm-hmm.
And then Merlin discovers that the casino was never remodeled and has been the same since it opened. Again, that was a great scene. The intensity of the music picks up and you're like, uh-oh, Nick or Rudy.
I like this.
Yeah.
Rudy goes into the bathroom, changes outfits with Ashton Kutcher. Like, he tries to escape. I'm like, God bless, he's still trying to escape. Merlin figures it out. Merlin goes after him, sees Ashton is all like, cowboy, I'm going to punch him. And then he's like, oh, shit, you're not him. It was a great scene.
Yeah, Ashton running away and them chasing. Yeah, that was. And Rudy heads out in the middle of nowhere. And this shit pile of a plot I'm reading doesn't mention it, but that was also once they figured out that wasn't Rudy or Nick, they see him running away. Great car chase, great foot chase.
Mm-hmm.
Rudy runs with Ashley to a frozen lake pursued by Gabriel and his thugs shooting at them. Okay. Should be told that Ashley ends up with Rudy because Rudy slides down the hill, sees a car coming and tries to flag it down, not realizing it's Gabriel and Ashley. Gabriel tries running him over. Rudy jumps down another hill. Gabriel exits the car and tries shooting him, but Ashley tackles him and they roll down the hill. She grabs the gun and catches up to Rudy. The rest of the gang is shooting and missing and hitting the ice. Ashley falls through. Rudy, a better man than me, jumps right in to save Ashley. I might have for Charlize Theron. Maybe.
No,
Maybe.
you wouldn't.
No, probably not.
No. Why are you even lying to yourself?
A great shot, like the underwater scene. That was awesome. The ice, the water carrying the leaves and twigs, showing the currents. Yeah, I like that scene. Yeah, you're right. I probably would have ran and left her there.
100%.
Especially if guys were chasing with guns.
Yeah.
Ashley falls through the ice and Rudy jumps to rescue her. The thugs pull them out and are seen by the ice fisherman who Gabriel kills. Did the fisherman not see everyone on the lake other than him holding a fully automatic assault rifle?
Apparently this fisherman is a moron because they were shooting. So he would have heard gunshots.
Yeah.
I would have just looked through a little like hidey hole and been like, oh shit, bunch of people with guns. I'm going to stay in my ice fishing hut and not come out. But he did not. He was all like, let me go investigate by walking out into the middle of the lake and see what these people, if they need help.
Yeah.
And poor Rudy's trying to be like, go, run. And I don't know if he actually ran or if he just kind of slowly jogged toward his like shack. He wasn't moving very fast.
No. He could have been.
Which was frustrating to me. He could have been. And then it was like Gabriel starts shooting. And I think I made a note at that point where I was like, Gabriel's a little extra crazy. Because literally all he had to say was, oh, no, we're good. Thanks. We're just going to go back to our hotel and like warm up. But no, he's all like, I'm just going to randomly shoot this shack. Although I will say this, the script actually picked up on it later on because someone was listening to the news or they had the TV on and the news was on and they mentioned a missing local man.
Right. That's true. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, nice tie-in.
So the movie is at times quite clever.
Yeah. It is a good action movie to a point.
Yeah. Then they get everyone back. Gabriel throws darts at Rudy to get answers and rants about his life as a truck driver. I like this scene. Gabriel throwing darts at Rudy and just landing them all around his head. And another line when Rudy said, hold on, where do I have it? Rudy says, yeah, like, okay, I'll help. Just don't start trying to hit me in the head. And Gabriel's like, I have been trying to hit you in the head. And now he's pissed because he just starts throwing him at his body.
Yep.
He decides to give him a second chance at drawing the map. Later, Rudy stumbles upon Gabriel and Ashley in the pool area and learns they are not siblings but lovers. I'll be honest, when I first saw this, I never saw this coming. I did remember this part of the movie. So this was not a shock or anything.
I did not remember this part of the movie. So my first shock was because they were being very flirty in that pool. And before the dialogue established that they were not siblings, I was like, is this incest? Because that makes me very uncomfortable.
And when I first saw that, that's probably what I was thinking, like, oh, that was getting weird.
Well, yeah, because I was like, did you just, and then it said something about like our parents or our mom or something. And I was like, what? And then she takes off her top and I was like, excuse me? And then she says my boyfriend, or he says my girlfriend. And I was like, oh, okay. So they're not siblings. No. Oh, okay, that makes me feel a little bit better about this, but I feel bad for Rudy. And then I was like, by extension, I feel bad for Nick because Nick was so in love with this Ashley. I don't even think that's her name. He got played.
Yeah. And Nick also escapes the room to go and sees this, why he didn't take off. I mean, he is a car thief. He could have
hot-wired a car
and took off.
But he also could have done that at the casino.
Yeah, he could.
If he had just run to a car, hot-wired a car, and taken off, he would have been safe.
Then back to the plot. Although I did like getting back to the room and then him holding up. See, because something so... And then I'm like, oh, because he's holding up the bed because he took it apart with his foot and looking like he's still chained to it. And then when the guy leaves, he puts his foot down and the bed falls down. So this script really takes great detail in remembering everything that happened. Here is the plot. The casino robbery does not go according to plan due to the inaccurate details of Rudy's map. Pug is killed in the count room.
Well, then.
So Rudy lied. And
well,
really,
yeah, he had to.
Shame on them. Every count room is armed. Come on.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, have you never been to a casino? They have more security. Like even way back in the day, they have more security than anywhere. Banks don't even have that much security.
No.
So I'm like, come on, guys.
And 3 of the counters were just waiting with shotguns. That was awesome.
Yeah. It was like, what did you think was going to happen? God bless those poor guys.
Everyone meets in the manager's office. Okay. There is a shootout between the count room people. Yes. Ashley joins in, it's now obvious she is part of the plan. She's barking all these orders.
First, she drove into the casino to take out the 2 state cops that came in and were like
state troopers. Yeah. That was cool too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gabriel introduces Rudy to Jack as Nick, but the manager recognizes him only as a cowboy from earlier and not as Nick. Gabriel, furious at Rudy's deception, spares him for a moment when he demands to know where the powwow safe is. This was great too. The whole reveal that Jack remembers Nick. He knows the name, but that's not Nick. That is the cowboy. And
but what kills me is Gabriel gets so mad about that it's not Nick. And I'm like, he's been trying to tell you.
Yeah.
He's told you multiple times he's not Nick. Yeah, you refuse to believe him. Why are you mad at him?
And then Rudy telling Jack, giving them the hint, powwow, the powwow safe. Yeah. And when Jack opens the safe, he grabs guns from inside and kills Jumpy as everyone else flees. Jack dies during the shootout while Rudy kills Merlin. Okay. First, Jack unloads a lot of bullets.
Like he really does.
He literally blows his whole casino apart with that gun.
Oh, and he made...
I don't know how big that
like
clip was.
Apparently, it was a Hollywood clip, with the never-ending bullets until it's super dramatic that he has to pause and reload.
Yeah, and reload. Until then.
Unlimited bullets until dramatic effect is needed. And he pulled out a one-liner, like once they jumped out of the window.
Oh, right, yeah.
Onto the casino floor. He made some, I don't remember what the one-liner was, but I was like, nice. And he keeps shooting them. God bless. Still misses them.
Oh, yeah. Hits everything but them.
I'm like, sir, how many bullets do you have? One of them can't find their way into these people? Come on.
And then another good scene was Crazy Clarence character Merlin fighting Rudy. Rudy gets the upper hand, but grabs the wrong gun. Because earlier, Rudy wanted a gun. They're like, no, and they gave him a water gun. And on the way to the robbery, Pug offers Rudy some rum or rye, whatever. And Rudy is like, okay, dumps the water out and fills his water gun with alcohol and starts squirting into his mouth.
God bless.
Now, Merlin sees the water trickling out his gun and is seemingly victorious, grabs the other gun and then starts to light a cigarette. So Rudy blasts him with alcohol. Now, I'm not a scientist or a firefighter for that matter. I don't think that amount of alcohol squirted onto a lighter would cause someone to almost spontaneously combust like that. But it was cool looking.
He kept pressing it.
Yeah,
like he was still squirting him with booze
as he was
after the fire had already started. So he was just like, "We're just gonna keep going until you die."
And that probably was not the most expensive Santa Claus suit he was wearing.
No, it was probably polyester, which is very flammable. Yes. Yeah, that was not made out of wool.
No. Okay. Rudy is grabbed out the back door by Gabriel and Ashley, who tie him up to their 18-wheeler truck. The two plan to drive Rudy off the cliff in a burning car with some of the money, so it will be assumed the stolen money has been burned. Okay, just kind of let me look ahead. Okay, this is what Wikipedia tells us. Ashley shoots and kills Gabriel, then Nick appears having faked his death. It was a little more clever than this. Not a lot, but a bit. Rudy is trying to appeal to Ashley's good nature. When that doesn't work, he calls her names. She retorts that Rudy pretended to be Nick after he was shivved and murdered in prison. Then Rudy is like, I never told you that. And then even Gabriel's like, he never said that. And then Ashley is like, men, and then shoots Gabriel. Then we hear the whistle that we hear at the beginning of the movie from Nick. He's revealed where'd he come from. I'll tell you, some dipshit executives thought this would appeal more to mainstream audiences. It really feels tacked on last minute. This
entire ending was such a hot mess.
Yeah.
I'm like, you tried to make it too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
I think I actually wrote that I'm like, this ending is too much because it starts with, okay, we're going to tie you up. And now we're going to tell you, they do the classic villain. We're going to tell you our entire evil plan while we're setting you up to die. And then, there's the classic slip up of the shiv. And then you learn that Ashley has double crossed Gabriel because Ashley is not Ashley. She's Millie, who was Nick's original girlfriend before he went into prison, the one he went into prison for killing her stalker ex, whatever. Anyways. But then after that, it's just a lot of, okay, yeah. And then Nick comes out of nowhere. Then they, I think, handcuff Rudy.
Yeah.
Put him in a car.
Yeah.
Although I do like the way Nick finally, I think, dies. He wasn't dead. We don't see him die, but I'm like, you're going to die because there's no way you could survive all the internal bleeding from a car running into you. Then there was real blood. And then it was just, it was a lot. A lot happened in like that last 20 minutes. And I'm like, some of it is original storyline. And a lot of it is just tacked on because they're like, we're going to need to make this more dramatic. And I'm like, if you had just kept this to like a caper, like
dialed back a bit,
it would have been a much better movie. But it felt very, we're going to throw everything in at the end.
Yeah. Because she says she's aware of Rudy's identity the whole time. Millie and Nick had collaborated to rob the casino using Rudy. Gabriel and the gang, they tie Rudy. Yeah, and we did see him take that knife, so that didn't come out of nowhere. And then he gets the car going and crushing Nick's legs was cool. Millie desperately tries to shoot him, but Rudy rams the burning car into her and drives her over the cliff. And then Nick trying to convince Rudy to share the money, but Rudy locks him in the truck and sends it over the cliff. Yeah. This is where I will say, had they left Nick out of the ending as the big twist and just kept Ashley as, okay, you weren't Nick. I just used everybody. I got what I want and used her as the bad guy. That would have been fantastic. This just shot it into B level.
It got ridiculous. It it got ridiculous because I think if they had left Nick out entirely, like let him die in prison, but if they had let Ashley show up and then have Rudy come in and she knows it's not him from the beginning, then there's still the double cross, not just for Rudy, but also for Gabriel. And then, you know, but they were like, oh, but that she could have just literally, if Gabriel would have said something, Ashley would have shot him in the head. She would have done her villain story on Rudy, stuck him in the car so that she could, and you still could have had him cutting through his restraints, running her over, jumping out of the car. She goes up in flames. He grabs the bags and walks away.
Yeah.
And plays Santa for everybody with the money. And I'm like, perfect. You don't need all that extra stuff.
No, and that would have made it a mid-level but decent action movie. Yeah, because
I think you have in Reindeer Games a pretty good action movie until you get to the last 20 minutes. Then it goes into ridiculous, and you're just like, "Come on, guys, this is too much."
And Ashley did all the work. Like she came up with the plan. She banged everybody. She went from "oh woe's me girl" to cold-hearted bitch when she shot the Gabriel. Like that was a great shot. That transformation in her face, like,
so good.
Yeah, what a pair of boobies.
You see it.
I mean, actor.
Why you gotta be so gross? If you're not throwing her in front of you to like save you, you're talking about her boobies.
But no, like that whole, and that's actually where you could see, like all through this movie, you could really tell Charlize Theron is like right from that, at that point, at least, fantastic actor. Cause she was great. She was probably the best in this movie, and everyone else was great.
Everyone was except for Ben,
who was just a little.
He was good. He was not great.
No.
But yeah, you can even see in Charlize, like you really believe that she is just, you know, someone who found love with a convict and she's looking for the happily ever after. You really believe that she's very afraid of Gabriel and that's her brother. You really believe. And then when you figure out that they're not brother and sister and they're boyfriend and girlfriend, you're like, oh shit, she's super convincing.
Yeah. And
then when you see
mean, she looks really mean. Yeah. No, she.
Yeah. So I'm like, she did great with this. I'm mad that they fucked up this movie.
And I know that they said they tried to help it along with Rudy saying that was a lot to take a chance on, and Nick was like, yeah, we knew it was a long shot. Like long shot. It made the movie ridiculous. I think this is where the movie lost most of the critics. Like 75% of the critics.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying this would propel the movie to Die Hard Xmas status if they didn't, but a lot of the reviews, critics, and audience mentioned the ending twist on top of the other twist kind of ruined anything the movie had going for it. Rudy picks up the cash and begins distributing in mailboxes on the way home to Sidna, where he joins his family for a Christmas dinner. Even though the voiceover said 5 Santas went into the casino, they'll be looking for 5. Ben Affleck is just wandering down the road in a Santa suit with a sack full of money. Cops won't be looking for that.
Well, it's funny because they said, you know, they'll be looking for 5 Santas. I imagined, because my first, he's going to take off his Santa suit now and toss it down with the burning car.
Yeah.
No, he did not do that. He just wore the Santa suit all the way home.
Yep. Okay, and that is our movie. I'll do my score first because I don't think we're going to agree, because this movie reminds me of another movie we watched, and it was another Christmas movie, and it was Black Christmas 2006. Another movie that was okay and then just got more and more ridiculous. My score. With reviews and audience scores set the bar low, and with horrible reviews like that and a trailer as good as that, I knew what was coming, so I adjusted my expectations accordingly. Reindeer Games is not a classic. It is not a great movie. I wouldn't even call it a good movie, but it is a movie, and you can't deny it that. This movie doesn't know if it wants to be a heist movie, a dark comedy Christmas movie, a gritty thriller. Either way, it fails at all of them. The writing relies heavily on chance, final of many plot twists, while fun is completely plausible. This is a bad movie that is well directed. Dialogue that is preposterous, but has so many great one-liners. And while the movie skews the line of action thriller parody, the talent of the cast seem to be in on the joke and make it fun and just go with it. And this Reindeer plays games, whether you like it or not, whether it makes sense or not, but from start to finish, it's unapologetically fun. It doesn't take itself seriously while taking itself seriously. You find yourself having just as much fun as I'm sure these actors were, because they took that script and fucking ran with it. This should have been a straight-to-DVD rental at Blockbuster, but Frankenheimer is just too good of a director, and he makes this small movie look way more complex than it should be, and that is a compliment. The director, cast, and crew take a small story and make it something a lot more that is incredibly easy to watch, and it's fun to watch. The movie looks great, the movie sounds great, the score is great. All this on their own is an epic fail. A few of them together, an epic fail. But you mix all those together and somehow this movie works. If you put this movie in, you are going to roll your eyes. You are going to laugh where you are not supposed to, where you're supposed to. You will nod approvingly at some of the action and scratch your head at others. You will smirk at great one-liners and stare blankly at others. But by the end of this movie, you will be smiling. Whether that is for all the plot holes, twist after twist, explosions, guns, and unlimited ammo, razor-sharp one-liners or dialogue so absurd you might think a 14-year-old fucking wrote it. Maybe that smile is for all the cheering you did every time Charlize Theron's boobies popped on the screen. This is so bad it's good. This is a guilty pleasure. Call it whatever you want. Just admit it was fun. It wasn't great. Didn't even make a whole lot of sense, but it was fun. I say buy it.
Interesting.
Yeah, be as stupid as me and buy it. You'll be disappointed and glad you have it in your library.
Don't get me wrong, I bought it too, but that was for technical reasons.
Yeah.
I had to buy this movie so that I could watch it down here because I wasn't 100% sure on my streaming capabilities while I was down here. I not fully agree with you, but partially agree with you. Here's why.
And yes, I will. Before you start, I agree. This movie could have went, and it might have been the mood I was in. It could have went either way. I was in a nostalgic Xmas action mood.
See, this is the kind of movie you put on when you're decorating your Christmas tree. This is the kind of movie you put on when you're baking cookies or when you're inviting a few friends over for drinks and like a Christmas potluck. This is a fun, ridiculous movie. It's not a great movie. It's a good movie. It's an entertaining movie. Because you just keep watching it and going, I can't believe they're doing that. I can't believe they're doing that. I can't believe they're doing that. Now, here's where my rating comes in. I would say stream it unless you can purchase it at an extreme discount. So if you can see it for like $2.99, $3.99, I'd even go up to $4.99. Totally worth it to have in your library. A lot of fun to watch. You see a lot of people who are incredible actors in their younger years. Ben Affleck still looks great in this movie. He looked great. Charlize Theron looks great.
Great ass.
Yes, so great for both of them. Both of them have got great asses. Gary Sinise is like off the charts crazy. Almost too crazy. Are there a lot of twists? Are there a lot of turns? Are there probably too many twists and turns? Yes. But that's what adds to the fun of it. So it's a very fun movie to watch. Don't expect anything great. Don't expect it to be considered a classic or to be an authentic Christmas movie. This is the Christmas movie that you watch when you're just starting the season and you want something fun on in the background while you're doing stuff. That's what this movie is. So I think it's fun, and I do think people should watch it because it's fun, ridiculous, and you're going to yell at your TV while you're watching it, or your phone, or your tablet, or your laptop, whatever you're watching it on. You're going to yell at it because you're going to be like, "Oh, come on, come on!"
Yeah.
but you'll laugh while you're saying it. So, I mean, yeah, stream it if you can. Buy it at an extreme discount. Don't be paying $14.99 for this. Like, don't, because that's stupid. Don't do that. But if you can get it for $5, buy it, keep it in your library, bust it out a few times when you need something light and fun to watch. I feel like the actors would show up to set and they'd be like, we have new pages for you. I feel like that was a regular occurrence on this movie. And if Ben Affleck wants to send us a note and let us know if that's true, that would be amazing. Also, hi, Ben. How are you? I still think you're very attractive. I know you're married to J-Lo. It's fine. But that's not the point. The point is, I want to know how many days they showed up to work on set and they were being handed new pages. Like, how many colors did you guys go through for like rewrites? I'm dying to know, because I have a feeling towards the end of it, they were just showing up like every day or every other day, and they were being handed a new set of pages and just being like, fuck, now I have to redo my binder. Feel it in my heart. I need to know.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. Yeah, at the end of the day, this movie is too well directed, too well acted. The dialogue was at points too good for it not to be fun. And I'm not saying it's great. And I'm not saying I'm going to watch it again this year. I might not watch it again next year, but I am going to watch it again. Like, of course I'm going to, I bought the fucking movie Dingleberries. Of course I'm going to watch it, but.
See, I will probably watch it again this year, but I'll probably pair it with like a Die Hard.
Well, now see, there is a version you can get on Amazon. It is Frankenheimer, before he died, put it together, and it is a vastly, apparently, different movie with like half an hour or in that ballpark of actual foot. What did he say? It has the action and the sexiness that he was aiming for. Whatever that means, I don't know. But it has me interested. And I'm wondering,
actually,
this is a horrible. To me, this is such a fucking mess but it's such a fun mess to watch.
Oh no, it's a fun mess it is a mess. Like, we should be super clear about that. Like, it's a mess. This movie is a mess.
This is not Die Hard or Lethal Weapon. This is
when you watch it though,
that realm.
Yeah, like it's a Christmas adjacent action movie.
Yeah.
So I would probably watch this, Die Hard, maybe even a Black Christmas.
Yeah.
You know, like this would make
to start your season off, like you were saying. This is a great movie to start your season off.
It eases you into like the major holiday movies. But I mean, it's funny because when you watch it, you're like, these actors are performing very well.
Yeah.
Like, the only one, and I wouldn't even say he's subpar, but he's just out of place, is Ben Affleck. His performance doesn't quite match the movie. And I don't know if that's his fault, the director's fault, the writer's fault. I don't know, but it doesn't mesh. But he's still good in it.
Yeah.
He's just not great in it. You know, the cinematography was great. The direction was great. The writing, you can tell that they had multiple writers on this and they had rewrites, because some of it was super great. Some of it felt out of place.
Yeah.
Like, there were different voices, but overall, the content itself is well made.
Yeah.
It's a ridiculous movie. And once you get to that last half hour, it's just, you're just like, oh my God, really? And then you kind of laugh a little bit. You're like, oh yeah. And then you're like, okay, well, at least he gets to have Christmas dinner with his family.
And that's the point too, because it is bad and it is ridiculous, but even when it's failing, you're still enjoying it. Like, you're not like, well, I had enough of this and turning it off. You're still, because
you're like, I want to see where they go.
Ridiculous. Yeah. But yeah, you want to see how ridiculous can they get? And they get really ridiculous.
Oh boy, do they ever. Like, it goes pure soap opera.
Oh yeah.
Like, it goes Days of Our Lives at the end. People coming back from the dead. Brothers and sisters not being brothers and sisters, but they're actually boyfriend and girlfriend. Mistaken identity, hidden identities. Like, this is Days of Our Lives for the last like 30 minutes.
No, this was.
I'm not mad about that.
No, and this was a fantastic way to start our road to the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm curious. I think I'm going to order the other one. I'm curious to see what he did or what he changed. But yeah,
I think that would be super interesting.
yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll let you know if I order it. But yeah, I'll watch this again. Yeah.
Yeah.
It might not be it, but like you said, it might be. Like you said, sometimes I wrap presents and sometimes I wait till the last minute. So I've got like 8 hours of wrapping.
Yep.
And so you listen to a podcast, you throw a movie on behind you. So all right, that is Reindeer Games. This is when we say till the next time we remember a movie we remember liking, or whatever we say.
Congratulations. You just had one of your childhood movie memories vindicated. Or they just eviscerated it. I don't know. This is a generic one-size-fits-all type of ending to the podcast. So thank you for listening, and please join Anna and Jimmy next time for another episode of the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. If you dare to go back and watch that movie you remember liking,